Nature time with Nathan. Nature time with Nathan. It's time to get outside and explore. But first, let's learn from Nathan what we should be checking out. 'Cause it's nature time with Nathan. It's nature time with Nathan. It's nature time with Nathan. Okay, guys, let's get this show going. Let's see what we can do to click some buttons and get this going. This is the month of May, and I'm here today to talk to you about what you might want to see in nature this month. What exciting things are happening? So, where to start? It's got a lot of screens and stuff going on here, so let's see what we can do to do this. So as you know, it's nature time. So we're looking for signs of spring. I need to get over here a little bit. Signs of spring. So if you can't find any signs of spring at this point in the game, I can't really help you. Get outside. It's pretty much everywhere. Everything is blooming. Everything is mating. It's absolutely craziness outside, which is why today we have decided to film this outside in our sunroom. So it is raining. I get to see the great outside. You get to see the great brick behind me. So, and even trying to stay inside right now is difficult. Keeping the outside. The ants want to come inside. Other critters want to come inside. And the birds. Unless you have a really good soundproof house, I can't imagine that you haven't noticed that the birds are chirping quite loudly, trying to entice mates and just being cheery that it's spring. It's exciting times are ahead. There's just no avoiding nature this month. What's my next slide here? Okay, hold on. Let's take a step back here from the birding, and let's just nature time with Nathan got a sponsor this year, or this month, I mean. Smokey the Bear has sponsored this show. As we are now entering Ontario's fire season, it is time to keep an eye out and pay attention. Make sure you put your fires out with water, and really try to make sure that you don't start a forest fire, because you must remember, only you can prevent a forest fire. Now, with this increase in funding we have gotten from our sponsor, Smokey, what's he doing with that match? Anyways, ignore the match in Smokey's mouth. With that increase in sponsor, we managed to hire another guest. So we managed not to hire a guest, hire an employee. We hired Joe. Now this is Joe's first time, and he's going to talk to us today about what the weather is like. Okay, the weather for the month of May. Here you guys go. It's weathering out. Back to you, Nathan. That's it? Joe, you didn't really say much in that weather forecast. I don't think this is going to be any good. Do you want to try that again? We don't want to have to fire you your first day, Joe. Do you got anything else for us? Weather forecast for the month of May is unpredictable. It could rain, it could snow, or it could be ice, it could be beautiful and sunny. It is much like a box of chocolate. You never know what to expect. So, before you get outside this May, make sure to check the local weather forecast. Maybe even look outside before you go. But get outside. This is Joe Prey reporting for Nature Time. Back to you, Nathan. Much better, Joe. So as you can tell, we don't really know what to tell you what the weather's going to be. It's a box of chocolates. Okay, moving right along. Let's get back into it. Oh, we're still in the signs of spring here. So we want to talk to you about birds. And there are so many birds out there right now. This is the great time for birders. They're just absolutely loving it. There's also so many baby birds being made. So I'm going to pick two. But I also want to mention, if you're a huge fan of warblers, there are a ton of warblers, and you're a whole different breed of birders, because, I don't know, I can't even barely tell the warblers. All right, moving along. What do we got for birds this month? The Scarlet Tanger. This is one of my favorites here. Its bright, dazzling display of kind of a reddish orange is a welcome sight in the with the fresh green popping out on the brown bark of all the forest, especially in the gloominess of May. So this one will be hanging out in your oak forest, maybe. Your oak forest mostly. I've seen them at both Rondo and Turkey Point. And I know I've heard that they are in Point Pelee and the Ojibwe area, Park area in Windsor. I don't have any information if they are in Long Point, but maybe. Basically, if you're in oak savanna, black oak savanna, there's a good chance you might see one right now. They only come up here to breed. This is kind of their most northerly range, and thank you to climate change, it has helped them bring them up further north, so we get to see them. And my personal favorite spot, though, is the Turkey Point's Black Oak Savanna Trail. It's absolutely amazing. The black oaks are great, big, mighty. They must do controlled burns there. Top notch. Black Oak Savanna Trail in Turkey Point. Highly recommend. The reason why I say to look for oaks is this bird loves to eat insects. And oaks sustain the most number of insects of any of our local trees, making them one of the most essential tree for birds and other wildlife. So, go plant an oak today. What are you waiting for? Now the next bird, I can find it here. Oh, no. Oh, something's gone astray there. There we go. The ruby-crowned kinglet. Now this bird was brought to me by my, hold on, some technical glitches. By some family members, some cousins of mine. And I don't know if they want to be named, so I'm going to leave them anonymous for right now, but they have a great eye. So this tiny bird, if you see one, it will seemingly have an overflowing ball of energy. Sometimes like me after I step into a Red Bull. And it forages frantically through the lower branches of trees and shrubs. So it's hard to get a good look at it because it's always moving all over the place. Kind of like this. And this bird was found last week, I believe, on the Tulip Tree Trail in Rondo. That is the Tulip Tree Trail is a great spot also to see birds. Now, you see these, my mouse shows it, you see these red feathers here on top of the head. That's this little mohawk. They're usually hidden under the rest of their feathers because this is the male ruby-crowned kinglet. But they decide to pop up their red mohawk when they get really excited by another mate, predator, or rival. This bird is seen around migration time, right now, in southern Ontario. It breeds up north, and it tends to prefer conifers. So I've probably seen it on my camping trips, but because I wouldn't usually see the mohawk, I haven't really noticed it yet. But then, come to think of it, I may have seen this bird before. I saw this! But it turns out that's not a ruby-crowned kinglet. That is Lars Fredrickson from Ransert. And that is a dyed mohawk, not a bird. Anyone could have made that mistake. Who knew? I didn't expect to see the bird at Echo Beach in Toronto. But alright, what's up next? Where to be this May for the birds? This is important. So, the beginning of May, you want to be down near Lake Erie for 2 weeks. Near Rondo, Turkey Point, all those places I mentioned, that's the spot to be. But then as the month progresses, they're slowly moving their way north. And by May 24, Algonquin is the spot to be to follow the migration. Now, I'm about to embark on a 21-day canoe trip, and I'm going to be heading north. So I'm going to miss the most of the birds here, but I'm hoping I see some up near me. Now I'm going to be north of Algonquin, so we'll see if they make it that far north. Maybe I'll run into my little mohawk friends, either Lars or the ruby-crowned kinglet. Now, excuse me if there's more slides on birds, but we have a special guest that just popped in. We're ready. We're ready. Let's take it away here. We are in the woods right now, trying to get you an exclusive interview with the special guest of today. Let's see if we can get them to come. Cheeseburgers! Cheeseburgers! Come on, everyone, come get your cheeseburgers! Excuse me, sir. Would you like some seeds? Just have a few questions for you. Oh, no, they're safe. Yes, thank you. So, how do you feel about... Sir, I was hoping to ask you a few questions. Sir? Okay, thank you. How do you feel about... Okay, maybe I'll just shout out the question. How do you feel about the bird migration? How has that been going on? Have you been seeing many of your friends? Since you were one of the best bird watchers I know, do you have any tips for the birders out this month? Did I hear you right? Did you just say learn to fly? How do you feel about the avian bird flu? Do you have any comments about that? Wait, sir. Okay. Enough with that guy. How about you, sir? How do you feel the migration's been going on? Do you have anything you'd like to say? Any comments for bird watchers? Oh, you didn't like our seat. Well then, enough of that guy. Well, welcome back. They sure had a lot to say there. Okay, so let's get back to the slideshow. Thank you very much. I believe that was also my trend, Joe. So. Oh. Spoiler alert. Hold on. Once again, some technical difficulties. Okay. So next we want to talk some of the exciting plants you might see this spring. One is the Jack in the Pulpit. This one always reminds me of my mother. I believe she said it was her favorite, or at least she's always pointing it out to me. It's also known as the bog onion, brown dragon, and a turnip. It has large leaves on long stems. It is found in most woodland habitats bursting from the forest floor. We have this around our cottage, so that's pretty cool to see. And I believe this is an orchid, so that's pretty unique. And you kind of see how in the center there, I had to look up where the pulpit was. Then I understood why this looks exactly like a pulpit. I don't entirely understand the Jack in the Pulpit reference, but maybe you got to be a little older. All right. Now, we bring us to my personal favorite, the mayapple. This is my favorite plant to see in the spring. I don't know if I have another plant that's more exciting to me than this one. But this one, because it comes up as little like mini trees, and it just spreads all over the forest floor. So the fruit is edible, but a strong word of caution. The leaves and roots are quite toxic, so I highly recommend staying away from eating this plant. It loves to spread right out, which is great. I'm hoping I can plant one in my front yard and see it slowly spread out over time. It's low maintenance. It also tends to stay green all year, which is also very good if you'd like to look at green stuff. I find it to be one of the last flowering ephemerals, so it's just starting to come out now. These are some photos I actually took. The first photo there of this is popping up is a photo I took last week at Apps Mill. So they are like mini trees. And just because I love this plant so much, look at this. So here's some great pictures. You can see the flower. The flower comes out underneath of it because it's meant for more like your beetles and other stuff to help pollinate it. That's what it's trying to attract. So it's not trying to necessarily attract the bees by being up in the open and showy. It's trying to attract stuff closer to the ground. And then it forms that little ball there that turns, that's the May apple. Turns green, and eventually it will turn a shade of red. Awesome plant. It is hard to see the flowers and fruit though, so keep an eye out. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the ticks are starting to come out, especially now with it starting to warm up. And they come from the ground at this time of year, and then they work their way up to the canopy, or to the plant canopy, up to about a meter to 2 meters there, where they're going to try to reach out for you as you're walking by. So be careful spending a lot of time on the ground and certain areas. I know went for a sit right next to the big creek last year and ended up with over 20 ticks just crawling up me, and I'm like, okay, enough sitting. I won't make that mistake again. They do recommend DEET. And the nice thing though is I hear the black-leg ticks, the ones that carry Lyme disease, are more numerous in the fall. But I swear I've had some on me last April, so keep an eye out. What you mostly will see now is probably the American dog ticks. So check your dogs. What's up? As you can see here, there's the American dog tick, and there's the black-leg ticks. The American dog tick is bigger. Just make sure to check yourself often. I also recommend, if you're not the greatest at checking yourself, shower once a day. That should help get rid of them. But that's just a personal tip that I do. I don't actually know how effective it is. It's gotta help. Or sometimes I like to jump in the lake when I'm camping. Hope that drowns them out. Animals. Well, I went with deer. I guess I'm not too excited about this. I'm not a big fan of deer. They usually destroy my forest and my canopies. If we still had wolves and predators, more predators of the deer, and they weren't as numerous, then yes, I wouldn't be so against deer. I wish we had more deer calls so we could help maintain the population so that we could have deer coexisting with healthy forests. Right now, we usually have an abundance of deer and an unhealthy forest because of their overgrazing. It's actually deer were I don't even think deer are really native to this area. Would have been native, would have been more moose. Even, I think they said elk or caribou. I sometimes get those kind of confused. They used to live here. But because we removed wolves and cougars and all the predators and everything else, with our overhunting, it allowed the deer to move in and thrive. But the cool thing about deer right now is their fawns are out. So you get to see little baby deer. And they have a nice, I like the white pattern. And they're usually around May, end of May, they turn a bright, vibrant brown. And then when you see them with the green background of the forest and everything else, oh, it's just magnificent sight. So look forward to your deer. Turkeys are out and they're strutting their stuff trying to look for a mate. It's also turkey hunting season, so wear orange and make sure you don't get shot and don't trespass on someone's land without permission, because they either might be hunting turkeys or they might think you are. Don't hunt on land you don't have permission to hunt on. Let's move on to reptiles. So, the chorus frogs are super active right now. I believe the spring peepers are mostly done. I hear they're peeping up north, starting to peep up north, so it's a different warmth, different area. Maybe I'll hear them on my trip, but the American toad and Fowler toads are going to start their breeding, and that is when, hold on, I have a segue. Watch your ears, people. This might be a sound you might hear on the beach in Rondo this May. The Fowler toad. You really have to watch out for that crying wasp sound they make. It sounds like a screaming baby, which totally freak you out on the beach. I'm looking forward to if I can get out to the cottage to hearing some of that. Alright, that's enough Fowler toads. I know some people don't like Fowler toads. Not going to mention any names. Maybe some fans of this show. Also, we want to remind you to watch out for turtles. They will be laying their eggs right now. I know me and my wife, Turtle, we saw a couple laying some eggs in the, some snappers laying eggs in the Mohawk Canal. Right on some sandy spots, so keep an eye out. Also, if you have to help them cross the street, always grab from behind. Maybe use a shovel or a pizza box. It's called the pizza technique. Deliver them across the street like a pizza, and always carry them in the direction they were going. Don't change their direction. That's just rude. The snakes are warming up. And a word of caution. A word of caution there is my wife found what looked to be a dead gardener snake, especially when you're going outside in the cold temperatures. And she's like, wanted to move it off the path just in case it was alive, it was going to get stepped on. And as she picked it up, it activated and started to move and slithered out of her hands down the path. if it's really cold outside, they're trying to get the sun to warm up right now. They're cold-blooded, so they can't move too fast if it's cold. So they need heat to move. So just keep a word of caution for that. Also, the salamanders are still breeding. You might be able to go to your, some traffic, your spring pond, or, it's escaping me, your sloughs right now, and maybe even see some salamanders. What else do we got going on? Trees. So the tree of the month that I'd like you to look for is the Eastern Flowering Dogwood. This is an absolutely beautiful tree right now. It's short-lived, but beautiful ripe flowers. As you can see from my distribution map there, I'll make it bigger. They're very endangered. We're in the northern limit of them in the Carolinian forest, so it's very difficult for them to sustain in this climate, especially now that we're getting more cold temperatures. But there's actually a fungus going around that's giving them a 25 to 75% mortality rate. So that's how I'm hoping to kill them off. And I also believe they look like poison ivy when they first start. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. Don't quote me on that. I might be getting confused with the hop tree. There's lots of trees that look like poison ivy, and that's actually the main reason why seedlings and stuff get killed, because people freak out. They think it's poison ivy. But this is a great plant, and while it's toxic, the berries are toxic to humans, there are over 50 species that rely on these, that can eat their fruit. So there is one now at Rondo. You might see on the map that there are none in Rondo. I have seen one in Rondo at the campground, just as you turn around the bend. Great spot to see one. What else? I know. The sky this month, ooh! May 8th is the predicted peak of the Lyrid meteor shower. Not the greatest meteor shower. You know, you want to stay tuned for August, because that's the best one. But this month we're going to have a total or partial lunar eclipse, depending where we are, where you are. Where you are, not where I am, where you are. It may be visible overnight on May 15th and 16th. So keep an eye out for that. That's pretty cool. That looks to be all I got for the show for today. So thank you for watching. We're going to see you again in June, so we want to wish you a happy naturing and remind you to get outside. Also, make sure you're checking out, if you're interested, and if you're not into it, doesn't hurt my feelings, but my 16-day journey that I've been posting on Facebook the last few weeks of me my fall trip in Algonquin. It's going to take me some time to finish it. I'll have a video out this Thursday, but after that, I am leaving for 21 days on a camping trip. The opportunity has presented itself with a group of guys, and I have never gone on a guys camping trip in the backcountry, so really looking forward to this. It's going to be a great time. Anyways, once again, thank you for watching, and we're going to be coming around again in June to with a fresh episode of Nature Time with Nathan. And we hope you're enjoying the show so far. Remember to leave us any insights or comments, or any insights of what you've seen, spotted. Maybe what's your favorite things to see in June? I would be curious of that. I know mine is. There's some interesting smells, but save that for later, guys. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a good day. See you next week. See you next month. Nature Time with Nathan. Nature Time with Nathan. It's Nature Time with Nathan, and sadly the show is over. It's closing time.